to the Fantasy Footballers Sunday Live.
What's up, everybody? Oh, brother, it's week 13. We're making that final push for the playoffs, so it's very real today. I am aware of that. Brooks, did you know that it's real today?
Oh, yeah.
You all right back there, Brooks? A little distracted?
Yeah, switching headphones to test audio on the people side.
Oh, well, I apologize for pulling you out of that, getting all your switches dialed up and your levers pulled and your knobs
Mike,
twisted.
You apologize for nothing.
Oh, you beat me to it, Brooks. What's up, everybody? Mike from the Fantasy Footballers Podcast. I hope you are having a delightful Sunday afternoon / morning wherever you currently reside on this great big planet we call Earth. I went Earth. I don't know. Whatever. But anyway, so week 13. Well, if you're brand new to Sunday Live, thank you for joining me. What we do here is we talk about the big picture of things, the ins and the outs, how that's affecting us. Great news, everybody. I don't know if you tuned in last week to Sunday Live. I mean, Jason's usually the guy who toots the horn for us on the Fantasy Footballers, but what me and Brooks went through on that Sunday Live, we deserve at least 5 Emmys for making it through that ridiculous scenario with all the COVID, weather, everything taking place last week. But this week, man, it's about as good as we can possibly get. No weather games. We're not staring down, is a game going to get pushed back from COVID and all of that nonsense. But speaking of that, let's get into it.
The big picture.
All right. I think the biggest piece of news at the quarterback position is Lamar Jackson, superstar quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens. Now, he is expected to be activated off the COVID IR list. He did test positive, so he had it. We don't know what his symptoms were like. That's not news that we are privy to. We don't know if he was asymptomatic, like how bad the virus did affect him. But he is expected to be active and start on TuesdayNightFootball.com. Here is my advice on Lamar, because I've got Lamar Jackson in our league of record. Thankfully, I'm not in a win and get in situation, but I am in a win and knock Derrick Henry out of the playoffs before he can fully activate and transform into the Yeti and destroy all of the villages that we have built, that we have protected ourselves from him. So I do need to win. It's important. And I personally am choosing to play Kirk Cousins over Lamar Jackson. I mean, you're talking, I would put the probabilities in the 90 percentile that Lamar Jackson is going to play. The matchup is very good for him. He's taking on the Dallas Cowboys. But in week 13, when you got to win, maybe you pick up Andy Dalton, or because you're not what's I can't even think of the what's his face who came in for the Ravens, because Robert Griffin is on IR.
McSorley.
Trace McSorley. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, you're not picking up McSorley. So maybe you pick up Andy Dalton in the event that Lamar Jackson is not going to play. So what I'm saying is, if you have a great option, it's okay to go with them. I'm going with Kirk Cousins. But if you're really relying on Lamar Jackson, make sure you are prepared, because you don't want to take a goose egg at the quarterback position in week 13. In Miami, look, I've tried my best to stand and to cape for Ryan Fitzpatrick. I've tried sending letters to the Miami Dolphins that the right thing to do for your team is play Ryan Fitzpatrick. I've been shot down. Tua is going to start. That affects things a lot, especially for guys like Mike Gesicki and Devontae Parker. You have to give them a downgrade simply because the rookie does not fire like the gunslinger, the sheriff, the magic one, Ryan Fitzpatrick. Cam Newton is expected to play. Daniel Jones, however, the leader of the NFC East, the leader of the New York Giants, he is doubtful. I don't expect that we're going to see him playing. On the running back side of the ball, Josh Jacobs is out. That was at least early enough that we were able to prepare. Devontae Booker becomes a pretty solid start here against the New York Jets. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, the rookie for the Kansas City Chiefs, he is questionable because he had an illness, a non-COVID related illness. The team is hopeful he's going to play, but this is going to come down to he's marked as questionable. Sounds more like a game time thing, but the fact that he's questionable sounds like they're going to lean that he's going to play. Todd Gurley is going to play. I do not want to play Todd Gurley this week. Coming off the injury against the New Orleans Saints, hopefully that you have a different option. James Conner. The good news for James Conner is he is eligible here. He's going to be eligible to come off the COVID IR list, but the Pittsburgh Steelers are not expecting him to play this week. It's another week of Benny Snell as the Snell cow. DeAndre Swift is out for the Detroit Lions. I mean, you would have played DeAndre Swift had he been in. I mean, he had the concussion problems. Now apparently he has an illness, a non-COVID related illness, so hopefully that's not related to the concussion at all. But if you're looking at like Adrian Peterson or Kerryon Johnson against the Chicago Bears, you are setting yourself up for a nasty disaster of a treat. David Johnson for the Houston Texans is going to be back. That is some good news. Some more good news. Myles Gaskin, the gas man. Oh, baby. He is back for the Miami Dolphins. Now, does he get a downgrade with Tua? Probably just because the overall offense is not going to score as many points as if Ryan Fitzpatrick were the quarterback for the Dolphins. But he's going to be the guy. Myles Gaskin was a 3-down running back. And everybody is hurt in Miami. I don't know what's going on with their backfield, but they're going to be leaning on Myles Gaskin. Because, look, Ahmed is out. Breida is out. DeAndre Washington is out. Jordan Howard is out the door on a different team. He's not on the Philadelphia Eagles. Alexander Mattison for the Vikings. He is out. This isn't like a huge uptick for Dalvin Cook by any means, but look, man, 10% of snaps. Maybe we get a little extra 10%. Maybe we get a little extra juice from Dalvin Cook this week. J.K. Dobbins and Mark Ingram both activated off the COVID list. I am all in on J.K. Dobbins this week against the Dallas Cowboys. Julio is going to play. You play Julio Jones. This is just who he is. This is part of the contract that you sign when you draft or you trade for Julio Jones. You know that this is part of the game. Other important pieces of information. Allen Robinson, he's going to play. Don't worry about him. And then Mark Andrews for the Baltimore Ravens is not expected to play. Whoa, trying to fold up. I'm very strong over here, Brooks. So, Brooks, I hope you're ready for your job back there. Can I get confirmation that you are ready?
Let's do it.
We're going to be talking some start-sit tool from the fantasyfootballers.com. If I don't answer anything about your player, I apologize, but you can head over there. You can see all of our rankings. They are going to be updated all the way to kickoff with the best of our ranking ability. But shout out to our team, the Fantasy Footballers. We are doing very well, and a special tip of the hat, bink, to Andrew Holloway, who is the number 6 ranker on the year as of right now. He is killing it yet again. So make sure you use his rankings because, I mean, he's the best of us right now, isn't he? He's the least handsome, but he's the best of the ranking. What are you going to do about that? So let's get into it.
He's so hot right now.
So like I said, there is a start-sit tool, and we use that to gather up the information because we want to see what are the big questions that people are having, that fantasy managers out there like you are struggling with. And Brooks, if people are coming at me with Antonio Gibson questions this week, I don't know if I can handle it. So,
oh, you know he's in there.
Oh gosh. Okay, well don't start with him. Start with somebody else so I can build up to me eventually saying don't play Antonio Gibson over somebody. All right, go ahead, Brooks. Who are we struggling with this week?
The hot name this week is Devontae Booker with Josh Jacobs out.
Yeah, that makes sense. So Devontae Booker against the New York Jets. Like I said, it's a pretty solid play. Currently, he is sitting at my running back 16. And for the record, in terms of rankings, and look, rankings are just a starting point, but that's ahead of Clyde Edwards-Helaire. That is ahead of Ezekiel Elliott. That is ahead of my beloved Antonio Gibbs season because he's playing against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and that is very unfortunate. But Devontae Booker is a well-rounded running back. He is a good pass-catching running back. I mean, it's the freaking Jets, man. What are you going to do? If you were excited to play Josh Jacobs against the Jets, Devontae Booker should be the primary benefactor. Like Jalen Richard, he's back, right? Like we'll double check that, but he was coming back to the best of my knowledge, and he's going to be involved a little bit. But Booker will be the main guy. Booker is grading out as a tremendous pass blocker as well, so he has the trust of John Gruden on all three downs. So I think that Booker is a great play. But Brooks, let me know, who do people want to play, Devontae Booker or player X?
Well, we'll save your favorite for the last one, but we'll start with the Gas Man.
Oh, Myles Gaskin. Okay. So Myles Gaskin just coming right back off of the injured reserve. He's missed 3 or 4 games. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. Right now, I have Myles Gasman ranked in my top 12 because he is taking on the hapless Cincinnati Bengals, who are just getting devastated by all who oppose the Bengals. The Cincinnati Bengals open the front gate and they say, please, sir, just grab whatever fantasy points you would like to take, make a withdrawal from us, and then go about your merry way. Myles Gaskin is in for me. With the Dolphins, this guy was getting 20-plus opportunities a week before the unfortunate injury that put him onto the IR. I am playing him with full confidence. My confidence in Gaskin is higher than Devontae Booker, so I'm going to go with Myles Gaskin.
And Richard is active. He is back.
Yeah, okay, just confirming that. Who else, Brooks?
All right, Booker, or you waiting for J.K. Dobbins on Tuesday night,
Oh,
football.com.
My goodness. I will say it's risky business. This is risky business. I have Dobbins sitting currently 1 spot ahead of the Gas Man. The Dallas Cowboys are bad. They are beat up on just overall. I mean, this team is – you've watched the Dallas Cowboys play. They are not in a good situation. Dobbins, here's the hesitation. So because they're right next to each other in my rankings, my confidence level in the security of opportunity for Myles Gaskin is higher than it is for J.K. Dobbins. My belief in the ceiling, though, for J.K. Dobbins is higher than Gaskin. Similar to Lamar Jackson, when I was talking about it at the beginning of the Sunday Live. How is J.K. Dobbins affected? I mean, the guy was sick. The guy had COVID, and thankfully he has recovered, and he's recovered enough for that he can get back on the NFL field. Let me know what Andy's saying here. Oh, Coulter is out. Okay, never mind. So my belief in Gaskin and his opportunity, he is safer. And Dobbins, this is a projection that he's going to lead the Baltimore Ravens backfield. Mark Ingram is back as well with J.K. Dobbins. But if they continue that transition we saw 2 weeks ago, that got shut down a little bit because of COVID, Dobbins is going to be fantastic. He's going to be incredible down the stretch, and it's going to start here with the Dallas Cowboys. So if I needed a really, really high ceiling, I would go with Dobbins. If I just need points and someone who's secure, I'm going to go with Myles Gaskin.
All right, you knew he was coming, Mike, but here we go. We got Booker or Antonio Gibson at Pittsburgh, whose last 5 finishes are the RB6, 17, 8, 7, and 2. Are you going to bench him for Booker?
Brooks, that was mean. That was just a mean-spirited thing to do. I mean, it's not, because you're reminding me how incredible the Antonio Gibbs season has been. It has been one of the bright spots of the year 2020.
Kill!
Thank you. But Pittsburgh, man, I know Gibson got it done against the Baltimore Ravens, but this is tough. We saw Saquon Barkley shut down. We saw Miles Sanders shut down except for a 74-yard touchdown run. I know that's a big except, but the fact is when you run the ball 11 times and you have a 74-yard carry and you finish with 80 yards, you got pretty lucky that they hit on the big play. Antonio Gibson can do that. Like, Antonio Gibson has the athletic profile to hit that big play, similar to Miles Sanders. But you're counting on that happening, and I am concerned for Antonio Gibson this week. He's still in my top 20, so it's not like this is a must bench. But if I manage to pick up Devontae Booker, I would play him above Antonio Gibson. If I had gotten Myles Gaskin, I would be playing him above Antonio Gibson. And that hurts to say because Antonio Gibson has been fantastic. And in the range of outcomes, as Gibson is still good, and he's still a top 10 guy this week. But for fantasy football, you have to follow your personal process. And my process would be I would play those guys with the opportunity in the much better matchup against over Antonio Gibson. We'll probably see a lot of smooches, J.D. McKissick, this week, more than we've seen in the last couple weeks. Who's next, Brooks?
All right, quarterback 3-pack real quick before we go to the people. And then this debate was happening in office earlier. I saw Ryan Tannehill versus the Browns, Lamar Jackson versus Dallas.
All right.
And then I'll throw Taysom Hill at Atlanta in there too.
Okay, that is fair. Of those, Ryan Tannehill against the Cleveland Browns is my number 8 quarterback on the week. Lamar Jackson is in my top 5 because the matchup is so good. But if you're going to play the game like I am, I'm playing Kirk Cousins ahead of Lamar Jackson, and Kirk Cousins is my number 7 quarterback on the week. So I have Kirk Cousins just ahead of Ryan Tannehill. They're very, very close. So if I had Ryan Tannehill and I was waiting and hoping and relying for a playoff berth on Lamar Jackson, I'm going to play the other quarterback. I cannot absorb that type of risk heading into TuesdayNightFootball.com that I don't know for sure that I have my quarterback and then I have no other options except for maybe I pick up Andy Dalton and play him against the Baltimore Ravens. Like, that's not a good backup plan. That's jumping out of an airplane and your backup chute is an anvil. That's not a good idea. It's not going to save you. It's going to crush you and it's going to feel bad. So you need to take your own risk assessment. How willing are you to face that question, that possibility that Lamar Jackson ends up as a unexpected scratch for McSorley? Trace McSorley, who threw a 70-yard touchdown strike to Hollywood Brown. What are you going to do, man? Football's funny. So if I have someone like that in my top 10, look, I will not play Derek Carr over Lamar Jackson. I would much rather go down in flames with Lamar Jackson. But if I got Kirk, if I got Herbert, if I got Ryan Tannehill, then I'm going to play those guys over Lamar just for the risk factor. But let's get to the people.
Stardom, sit 'em.
All right, this first question, I love it. It comes in from Big Mike. He says, Hilton or Hollywood? Both of these guys had pretty good weeks for like the first time all year. So it's fun that we get to talk about them both at the exact same time. Hollywood against the Dallas Cowboys. T.Y. Hilton against the Houston Texans. I know it's a historic past that has nothing to do with this week's game, but T.Y. Hilton just crushes the Houston Texans. I would be playing him over Hollywood, even though we had some news come out today that apparently Phillip Rivers has an injury that is going to require some type of off-season surgery. But Phillip Rivers, he is a tough man, and I'm going to play T.Y. Hilton over Hollywood Brown. Real quick before I get into the next question, I want to thank today's sponsor, Pristine Auction, pristineauction.com, the best sports memorabilia site of all time. It's the holiday season. Make sure you head over, check them out. It's hard to find unique gifts for people. Trust me, if people will not see something coming from pristineauction.com, a signed jersey from nearly any athlete you want, except for Antonio Gibson. Pristine, I'm begging you, get Antonio Gibson. Get him on the horn. Get him signing some stuff because I know someone who needs to buy Antonio Gibson gear, signed gear. But anyways, the signatures are always authentic. Go check them out. You can use the code BALLERS, and you're going to save $10 off your first auction victory. You only pay for what you win, and I promise, you will not believe the prices that you can win some of these things at.
Hey, Mike.
Yep.
Antonio Gibson is on pristineauction.com now.
A jersey?
Yes, sir.
Ignore what I just said. Don't bid on Antonio Gibson gear. People, stay out of my way. I will crush you. Oh, my. What?
They heard you.
Oh, brother.
They made it happen.
All right, we're going to have to close up Sunday Live here. I got to make some bids. All right. This next question. Oh, goodness gracious. Young pros, Minnesota can only start 2. Julio, Justin Jefferson, Cooper Kupp. All right, Justin Jefferson is locked. He is the matchup is delightful for the Vikings against Jacksonville. Now it's, do you take the risk of Julio Jones? Do you take the disappointment of Cooper Kupp and hope that he comes through against his division rival, the Arizona Cardinals? I'm playing Julio Jones. Screw it. It's time. You need your big players to come through in a big way, and there is not much bigger in the fantasy world these days than Julio Jones. Ride or die. I'm going. This is what happens. Oh, Ben G says more like 10 Emmys. Ben, I appreciate you. We should have gotten 10 Emmys. Send our nomination in, Brooks. We're on Emmy watch here. Let's see. Fabian wants to know Dobbins or Johnny Taylor. I do love both of these players. I got Johnny Taylor right now at my running back 15 against the Houston Texans. He is coming off the COVID list. He was a contact trace. It was a close contact, so they had to isolate him. He was not sick, unlike J.K. Dobbins. The risk factors involved, it's very similar to Myles Gaskin, that the Dobbins ceiling is so high against Dallas. Not that Jonathan Taylor's ceiling is low at all, but the safer play is Jonathan Taylor if you just need a floor with a little bit of a ceiling, but if you got to swing for the fences, I would go with J.K. Dobbins. Next question comes in from Madison, who needs a flex. Debo or Michael Pittman Jr.? Good thing that Jason is not here, because if he were here, he would just be besmirching Debo Samuel all over the place, or as Jason would say, left, right, and center. He would be besmirching our beloved Debo Samuel. You play Debo. Yes. Now you're a man. And look, Jason's not wrong. He gets hurt a lot, but he's not hurt right now, and that means that you play him while you can. Enjoy the Debo Samuel game. Okay, this is a good one. The TFT Dub Club wants to know Clyde Edwards-Helaire or Antonio Gibson. Now, there is a situation where I am going to go Antonio Gibson. Even I have Clyde slightly ahead of my rankings currently, but I would play Antonio Gibson over. You do have the slight risk factor of the illness. You have the slight risk factor that Clyde Edwards-Helaire is a surprise inactive tonight, or maybe they just give more work to Le'Veon Bell. Maybe they give more work to Darrell Williams this week because Clyde has been sick and missing practice. So I am going to go with Antonio Gibson. We did it. I told you. I was not abandoning Antonio Gibbs season. He's not in a good situation this week, everybody. And he's everywhere on my rosters. I'm playing Antonio Gibson everywhere. So if people are going to get upset, you know who's going to be upset? Me, that's who. Because it will be bad. It'll be bad for my teams. We got Burton Stunt 77 says Lamar Jackson or Justin Herbert. Herbert is high enough in my rankings that I am willing to pivot away from the risk of Lamar Jackson. Julian, full PPR, Devontae Parker or Debo Samuel. Unfortunately, because of the Ryan Fitzpatrick news that Tua will be starting for the Miami Dolphins, I will be going over to Debo Samuel in the PPR. I mean, what's interesting for Debo, we haven't really seen this offense with Debo and Ayuk. And then, next year, then we have a whole new shebang that we got to deal with of Deebo Samuel, Ayuk in his second year, and George Kittle back. So that'll be fun to decipher. But right now it's just the two of them, and right now Deebo is the one who is the healthiest. Ayuk just coming off of the COVID IR. Let's see. Next question comes in from Keith, who says Landry, Claypool. Wow, a lot of Deebo questions. Landry, Claypool, or Deebo in a half point. That is rough. I really like all three of these guys. Claypool's matchup against Washington is a little bit tougher. The Landry, oh man, I'll go with Jason on this one. Jason started the week as Jarvis Landry. The matchup against the Tennessee Titans is solid. I think there's going to be a decent amount of points put on up on the board there for the Cleveland Browns and the Titans matchup. I'm going to go with Landry, who in his the first time we ever really could see what Landry could do without Odell Beckham, it was pretty nice. He was pretty nice. It came through in a big way. Robert Robinson, Myles Gaskin, or Michael Thomas PPR. Because the PPR, it makes it easier. It kind of stinks that to trust in Taysom Hill, but Michael Thomas, the big game 2 weeks ago was Taysom Hill in the exact same matchup. The PPR value of Michael Thomas, you got to take it. Myles Gaskin, we'll see a handful of receptions, but I would go with Michael Thomas there. Let's see, and we'll go just a couple more questions because we're up against the clock. Oh, goodness, Brooks, I'm trying to find a good one. Cody says DJ Chark or Michael Pittman. All right, there we go. We're scratching a little bit lower, a little bit deeper. I'm going with DJ Chark against Minnesota. Brooks, give me a temperature on DJ Chark. Where are you at?
I like Chark. That'd be my pick for sure. He's so talented, even with the terrible quarterback play.
I've got the matchup is good against Minnesota. DJ Chark is back. Mike Glennon. I think I saw enough of Mike Glennon that Mike Glennon's a real fun guy to make jokes about. You know, it's a low hanging fruit target to take a shot at Mike Glennon. He's a big tough guy. He can handle our jokes here. He's good enough to get it done against the Minnesota Vikings. I think that DJ Chark's in a really good spot here. I like him. And last question comes in from Elijah, says Cooks or Gibson in a PPR. I'm going to go with Cooks. So talking about Brandon Cooks, he's the only show in town. Let's see what he can do. But until proven otherwise, you're still playing Brandon Cooks. You're still playing Deshaun Watson. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for Sunday Live. I'm your host, Mike, the Fantasy Hitman Wright. Thank you for joining me. I will see you tomorrow on the podcast. I wish you nothing but the best of luck, everyone. Please stay safe. And as always, keep it beautiful. Mwah!